Nearly every time I stream, and even on some YouTube videos, I always get comments that say something along the lines of, "Chase, I'm on a really bad losing streak, I'm in rank debt, do you have any tips for me?" And I don't have a problem when people ask me this, but I do find that to be a very vague question. I have never seen you play. I don't know what you're doing wrong. I can't tell you if you're losing because it's something that you're doing or something that your teammates are doing. And a lot of times, people don't even mention what weapon or role they play. So I'm making this video to address everyone who's asked me this in the past and everyone who will ask me this again in the future. I really can't help you. But I do have a few general tips for anyone who might be struggling, even for X rank. And you may find some of these to be pretty obvious, but I think it's one of those things where you need to hear someone say it before you realize it. Number 1, learn to take breaks when necessary. When you lose in Splatoon, it sucks. I have not played a single other game that makes me feel as bad as Splatoon does when I lose in a match. But there's something about this game that just makes you want to keep playing, even if it's going terribly. Maybe it's the fact that you just lost a ton of ranked points and you want to climb back up before you stop playing. Or maybe it's the fact that you know you can do better than how you did in that last game, so you'll just do one more. And then you realize you've been playing for 2 hours and you've lost like 200 points. Guys, tilt is so real in Splatoon. Losing just one match can completely change your mentality for the next game. Like even for me, I'll be on a big winning streak in X rank, then suddenly I face some really good players and I get KO'd in a minute. Suddenly, I find myself playing a lot more passively in the next game. Now, I'm not saying everyone's gonna behave like that, that's just an example. And I'm also not saying that you should take a break after losing one game. That would be ridiculous. Losing is part of Splatoon. And, well, any game really. But a tip that I've adapted for quite a while is this. If you lose 3 games in a row, go take a small break. Just set the controller down, go get a snack, or watch a YouTube video or something. Let your mind relax a little bit. This will give your brain a chance to cool off, because you might be a little mad or upset from those previous losses. You've now given your brain a chance to reset, and you're going to play better than you would have if you just kept queuing in. Being aware that you're tilted or behaving differently after a loss is very important. But let's say you come back from that small break and you're still losing a lot. Your aim just isn't good today, or your teammates are just consistently terrible. Well, that happens. Today is just not a good Splatoon day for you. Everyone has off days, guys, even the top players. But what makes those top players so good is that they can realize when they're having an off day and take some time off when it's necessary. If you find yourself consistently losing and getting upset, just take the day off. I know Splatoon is addicting, but trust me, you can do this. Just put the controller down and go work out or finish that homework that I know you've been procrastinating on. Playing too much Splatoon can really negatively affect your gameplay, and I say this from experience. Let's get into some other things that you could try to do. The most common thing people are going to tell you is to change your weapon. You might have your mind really set on reaching X rank with the tri-stringer, but it's just not working out for you. Try something else. I'm not telling you to use a different weapon every time you play the game. You should try and stick with just a couple of weapons. But if one really isn't cutting it for you, just try and learn another weapon on the side and see if you start winning more. It's no secret that certain weapons are much easier to win with than others in a solo setting. Like, you're going to have a much easier time ranking up with a splatter shot or a 52 gal over something like a GooTuber. That's just how the game is. Now, what if you're already using one of those easier weapons? Let's say you main the splatter shot and you're constantly losing. That's fine. I have the same advice for you. Try something else for a bit. Just because you try something else doesn't mean you have to stick with it. It can just be a nice change of pace for you. And when you come back to your original weapon, you might be pleasantly surprised at how much better you're doing. An underrated thing that people can do is to try and change your sensitivity if your aim has been feeling off lately. Some Japanese players actually say that it's good to slightly change your sensitivity every so often, because your brain can become a little too acclimated to your current settings, resulting in you over or undercompensating sometimes. Don't go and make a drastic change, just bump it up or down by a single number or something. Experiment with different sensitivities and see if they feel any better than what you were previously using. And if none of them do, just switch back. I've had cases where my aim was starting to feel consistently off. I turned my sensitivity down by 0.5 for just a day, decided to go back to my original one, and suddenly I was aiming way better than I had in a pretty long time. It's weird how the mind works with this kind of stuff. Watching top players' gameplay can be really beneficial. Even if you're not watching gameplay of your specific weapon, just observing how a top player positions themselves and makes decisions can really change how you approach your games as well. I don't have a ton of info on my channel about weapons besides dualies, but by just doing some research, finding videos or guides for your weapon shouldn't be too hard. People like ProChara, that SRB2 dude, Kiver, and many others all have tons of gameplay videos that you can go watch and learn from. In order to become the best, you need to learn from the best. But now, let's assume the worst. You've already tried all these tips, but still, nothing is working. No matter what you do, you still just keep losing and your morale is at an all-time low. It happens. It's happened to me many times. And you know what I do? I take a long break from the game. It can just be a couple days, it could be a week, it could be a month, it's up to you. But take time away. Your brain is Splatooned out, and you need to give it some time to regroup. Go play Mario Wonder or Tears of the Kingdom or something. Or better yet, go outside. Splatoon is just a game, guys. Don't let it destroy you.